Welcome to Lessons in Leadership. Steve Adubato with the great Mary Gamba, who's listening to some audio book about being present while she was multitasking and texting 6 other people. Mary, how you doing?
I'm doing great. And what I didn't tell you is that I listened to that audiobook while walking, while texting, while driving. So I don't know if I'm truly learning, but I do feel that it is helping me to slow down and breathe a little bit more often.
And speaking of being present, we have the presence of Michele Adubato. Yes, she's my sister, but way more importantly, the CEO of the Northward Center and the founder of the Center for Autism. Michele, first of all, I'm not going to make a big deal about the book Over Your Right Shoulder, which is a best-selling New York Times book. I don't want to make a big deal. But what did you say you have? What did you say you have hanging in your house? Tells you what?
First of all, that's a wonderful book. I look at it. I've not actually read it, but I hear it's very good.
Yeah, you should. You should. You should read the one about being nice to your younger brother. Come on. What's the thing in your house?
I have something in my house, very, on the mantle that says very clearly, and be here now. Be here now. Absolutely.
And in that spirit, let's be all about, in all seriousness. By the way, can we get this out of the way? Michele and I don't have many chances to do this publicly. Mary, I know you'll appreciate this as well. Michele, can we wish our mom? Do we say the number?
Absolutely. She's proud of it.
I lie about my age.
You lie all the time about your age.
She's turning 90.
90.
And she looks amazing.
Yeah, she really does.
She tells us all the time how great she looks.
Yeah. Happy birthday, friend. Yes. Thanks for watching.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Mom, I'm going to be nice to Michele like you told me this morning to be. But Michele, in all seriousness, let's talk about something that's no joke. We're involved in this initiative. You and I talked when we started it. I told you we were engaged in an initiative called Vaccines, What You Need to Know, in cooperation with the folks at Hackensack Meridian Health and the New Jersey State Department of Health. What do we need to know? And Michele knows more about autism than most. What do we need to know about vaccines and autism? Lots of confusion, shouldn't be.
There's no confusion. Let me make it, here it is. Ready? Vaccines do not cause autism. And I think that's the problem where people think there's confusion when there's no confusion. The confusion is called social media, conspiracy theories, which has been rampant, as we know, in everything. Vaccines do not cause autism. But you know what vaccines do? They save lives. That's what they do. I think what happened, somebody jumped on, there was one silly study with 12 people, and that has been debunked over and over and over again. But we need to remember something, that it happens to be a coincidence, that it could be that when autism presents itself, it could be at that same age, between that age where you may be getting a vaccine. So what we need to think about is it's maybe a coincidence, but it's not a cause.
That's a good, so people confuse.
Absolutely.
Oh, it must be that.
Yes.
Not that.
Because when we don't understand something, we want to put a label on it. And autism certainly cannot be labeled one thing. We see that all the time. It's a spectrum disorder. I mean, it's a spectrum. It's, and there are obviously different reasons or different theories why that occurs. But 100% vaccines do not cause autism.
Before as Mary jumps in, I'll remind folks, Michele is not only the CEO of the Northward Center, an organization our dad founded in 1970, a multi-purpose community-based organization, services of a range from very small children all the way to adult daycare center, folks in their 80s, 90s, beyond, but also the founder of the Center for Autism, a nationally respected operation. Mary, jump in.
Sure thing. And this is also going to be airing on our PBS programming. So for full disclosure, the North Ward Center is an underwriter. Thank you for your support, Michelle, all these
Are
years.
they? I didn't know that.
We're supposed to disclose that right here on PBS. So Michelle, I would love to just get your input and site guidance for those parents who are unsure. What can and should, what's one great question when they go into that pediatrician, instead of following social media and asking questions? I see people on Facebook all the time saying, should I get the MMR? I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that vaccine. One piece of advice that you have for those parents to become informed when they go in to see their pediatrician.
Well, Mary, I would say safety first and follow the science. And you know what's happening now, especially with measles and unvaccinated children, is it's actually dangerous not to get these. And if you follow the science, which is, let me clarify something. It's very difficult these days to follow science and what's real and what's not real. But when you have to take a moment, you either trust, at some point you have to trust the experts and the scientists and the health profession and the countless people that have studied this, but also the advocates like myself who will come out and say, emphatically, you need to make sure your child is safe. And getting vaccines are safe.
Michelle, we're going to do a separate segment with Michelle about not-for-profit leaders, for not-for-profit leadership in these incredibly challenging and uncertain times. But I'm curious about this. How has the confusion on the part of some and the mixed messages on the part of some credible public officials, how has it impacted your work?
Greatly. It's, I think, it's hard enough to have a diagnosis of autism, but to throw on top of that some type of guilt that is not valid, not warranted, that maybe you did something.
Maybe a parent did something by vaccinating their kid?
Yeah, maybe they're the reason why this happened. I mean, it's actually cruel. I find it very cruel. I've had questions posed to me. Could this have been? Could it have been? And, I think there's a cruelty to this, that we have officials now that are kind of, it's interesting. They're saying one thing and they're saying another thing from another side of their mouth. They're not being clear. I think they're intentionally being vague because they've said so many other things that vaccines are an issue. But when it comes down to it, I think that, it's unfortunate that we have our officials that are actually saying that. And I could totally understand why parents in the community could be confused.
Yeah, if government officials, and we don't editorialize or do commentary, at least from this seat, we don't, Mary and I, anyone on our team anchoring a program. But I will say this, if you say on one hand, you should have your kid get the MMR vaccine, but we need to do more studies to find out. That is, by any definition, a mixed message. That's confusing. Mary, one more question for Michelle.
Yeah, it's just going back to the elected officials. What can and should they be doing to, in those moments when they have that spotlight, use social media to clarify that message? I feel like most people are just hiding. They're afraid to, put the facts out there. But what message do you have to those elected officials?
They need to be very clear. Vaccines do not cause autism. Say that sentence. Say it.
And say nothing after that.
Nothing.
No more. We don't need more studies.
Absolutely not.
It's so. Yeah.
They need to be clear.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm going to avoid saying anything else. I'm going to leave it at that. Michelle has worked. Michelle, just by way of background, so people know, you are not a clinician, but you have been an advocate and engaged in the autism community.
I have dealt with countless physicians, all types of agencies, all types of medical professionals. Never, ever have I come across, to be honest with you, one medical professional that has said that to me. In fact, they say the complete opposite.
Michele Adubato, the founder of the Center for Autism, their website, make sure the website's been up the entire program and the post-production, but also the CEO of the North Ward Center, an organization our dad founded, Steve Adubato Sr. Check him out on our Remember Them series. We did a nice half hour on his life and legacy. And Michele Adubato is living it out every day. And we'll do another segment with Michele talking about not-for-profit leadership in incredibly challenging and uncertain times. Thank you, Michele. Mom's going to be proud of you. You're supposed to say she's going to be Never mind. We'll be right back after this.
We'll be right back.
This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Vicino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, the North Ward Center, Gingoli Construction, the New Jersey Sharing Network, Delta Dental of New Jersey, the Helix, Fedway Associates Inc., the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com.
Promotional support for this edition of Lessons in Leadership with me, Steve Adubato, and my colleague Mary Gamba has been provided by NJ.com, NJBIA and New Jersey Business Magazine, CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and the Meadowlands Chamber and Meadowlands Media. We're joined once again by Michele Adubato, the CEO of the North Ward Center. Check out their website. It's up right now. A not-for-profit organization making a difference every day, particularly for citizens in Newark, New Jersey, and also the founder of the Center for Autism. Hey, Michele, let's do this. Leading two not-for-profit organizations in 2025, number one challenge, other than, as we say in our old neighborhood, shkadol, which is money. Go ahead.
It's not just money. I think people need to understand the purpose of nonprofits and how nonprofits use the money and use the revenue and how it comes down the stream. And I'm just going to be very clear about, like, people talk about waste. There's a lot of conversations about waste and fraud. When you get federal money, it's budgeted line item. We have to account for every single dime we get. And I think that's kind of a misnomer that people, you just get this money. And all of our money goes to, for the North Ward Center and Center for Autism, goes to the idea of direct services. So it's not like I actually have a lot of discretion in terms of I get the money for this program and there's items where I have to put that.
Right.
So when people talk about, how we're going to save money, I think nonprofits do an excellent job of using the money where it's needed.
Mary, because Mary and I run.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, Michele. So we run a nonprofit as well. We have a meeting coming up.
We don't have government. We intentionally do not see government funds, to be
correct.
Clear.
But funding is funding. You need that money coming in a nonprofit.
Yep. And runs a different kind of organization. They need that government funding. Go ahead, Mary.
Definitely. When it comes to board management and overseeing your team and transparency and trust, talk a little bit about your approach to leading your board, leading your team to be transparent, but not the sky is falling in a sense of panic.
Yeah, Mary, that's really, an interesting question, because we need to lead in times of turmoil. But to actually say that it is not a crisis is just not being transparent. There is a crisis going on. We're waiting and waiting and waiting to see where, when, not if, these cuts are coming. They're coming. And it is kind of getting my leadership team and my board I've been talking about this for months. I actually spoke about it way before things changed. And because you just knew that it had to come that way. There was no way that this was going to be the way where there's going to be federal funding cut.
Which then impacts state funding.
Absolutely, of course, because the federal government's going to slash it from 30-40% and say to the states, here's your block grant. Go ahead, go for it. And so
how do you do that without scaring the heck? Because we struggle with this every day as well. How do you do that, Michele, without scaring the heck out of team members, board members, and everyone around you?
I don't know if the word is scared. Be ultra aware. we need to be very concerned. I mean, like I said, to talk, to say like, it's not going to be that bad, or we can weather this storm. There are many nonprofits that are not going to weather that storm. If that's being scared, but you know what? We will. And I'm going to tell you why we will. Because we're not going to just wait to see what's going to happen. We're looking right now to say, how do we bring additional revenue back into the Center for Autism? Let's think a little differently.
That's right.
And that's where I think we need to be looking at. And I think that's some of the issues for nonprofits, is because they get into this, this routine. That's how we get money. That's how we get money.
Michele, stay on that point. I'm going to plug this book. Mary and I are talking. This can go in our leadership library. Mary, Michele, we're going to make sure we send you this book. It's from Adam Grant, who is a scholar up at Harvard, who wrote this book called Think Again. What he says is, we don't know what we don't know, and the best leaders don't just keep doing what they've been doing forever. And that's what Michele's talking about right now. Michele, before I let you go, let me try this. I'm curious, Mary.
Well, I was hoping you're going with buddy treats. We have about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left.
Because there are two dog lovers here and one.
I know. We could just put Steve.
You're not one of them.
We could put Steve in the waiting room right now, and Michele and I will just finish this interview. So, Michele, tell me about buddy treats and the importance of, I know it's in the planning stages, but social enterprises. What buddy treats is? We have about a minute and a half left. Talk about it, and we'll put up some great images.
Who the heck is Buddy?
Yeah, please, Stephen. Let's X Stephen out on this, but it is. So let me just very quickly tell you what a social enterprise is. It's basically, unlike traditional businesses where it's just focusing on profits. Social enterprises, a social enterprise will, yes, look at profits, but for a socially responsible cause. Okay. And so what we're looking at is a social enterprise that will help employment for people with neurodiverse backgrounds. That's huge. People with autism and being employed, but also to be funneling the profits, if that occurs, back into the Center for Autism, hence revenue.
Will you tell folks what Buddy Treats is?
So we've got Buddy Treats. Buddy Treats. What is that? It's a limited ingredient, very healthy treat for dogs that will be made and produced and sold by people with neurodiverse backgrounds.
You didn't tell everyone who Buddy is. Not everyone watching knows who Buddy is.
Oh, there's been pictures up. He is now an official.
You need to learn from Buddy, okay?
An official.
Everybody knows who Buddy is.
Oh, everybody knows Buddy. Michele,
TikTok. Buddy
is
an official certified therapy dog.
Buddy he's not a therapy dog in training anymore. He actually passed his test 2 times. It took 2 times, but he passed. He is a therapy dog that we use here. We've used him since he's been 3 months old. He's now going to be 3 years old. And he goes to all of our programs. He is loved. He's got the capital C charisma, just like you, Stephen.
Just like me. Except the reality is Buddy is part of this initiative, this very entrepreneurial mission, using those resources, frankly, in a very creative, innovative way.
And that's where we have to, again, think differently as nonprofit leaders. Where can we look at revenue and look at it a different way?
Right. And by the way, check out the website to find out more about Buddy Treats. A whole bunch of social media about Buddy and Buddy Treats. Michele, thank you. Well done, as always. Good job. See, she never says good job back. I'll leave it
I knew you were fishing for that.
No,
Thank you, Michele. Stay with us. Steve, stay with us. We'll be right back.
She said it, so that's what we're going to do. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, the North Ward Center, the New Jersey Sharing Network, Delta Dental of New Jersey, the Helix, Fedway Associates, Inc., the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856. We're now joined by Dr. Ines Murzaku, who is professor of religion, Director of Catholic Studies Program and founding chair of the Department of Catholic Studies at the great Seton Hall University. Doctor, great to have you with us.
Great to be with you.
Let me ask you, you're so many accolades here that I want to talk to folks about, but talk about your passion for the work you do, particularly around, you've talked a lot about the need for, this is a leadership conversation, to be more kind in our leadership, more forgiving in our leadership. In 2025, really, Doctor, help us understand that, because we need more of it.
Of course, we need more of that, and also our students need more of that. I use Mother Teresa. I've written a book on Mother Teresa, and currently I'm writing another book on Mother Teresa. And there is a lot of leadership in Mother Teresa, in this diminutive woman who has founded this wonderful missionaries of charity, one of the most successful modern, I can say, religious orders in the world. So just to give you a little background why I'm so interested, in the business part of Mother Teresa. In 2021, Seton Hall joined Harvard Business School, Professor Michael Porter and his Institute on Competitiveness. Of course, I am a professor of historical theology, and I said, why on earth I am here, right? But my colleagues, who invited me and also Seton Hall to be part of this network, it's 100 universities, all around the world. Say, you know what? We need so much the humanities. We need the Catholic social teaching, although, people there are mostly, business, come from the business world. So while I am writing this book and also, in my other research, I've always thought of Mother Teresa. What are the key principles of Mother Teresa's leadership? And I've come up with a little, how can I say, a little mothers. I call it mothers, the framework. And when we say mothers, you know what I mean by Mother Teresa.
So what are the keys, Doctor? Is it kindness?
Yes. Are you ready for this now? The keys, according to me? Okay. And according to Mother Teresa. So mothers, we said mothers. M stands for mission focused. And she was so mission focused, purpose driven. Mother Teresa knew what she wanted. Okay, she has a mission, she has a vision, and she got things done. So M, we said M. Now O stands for others. Mother Teresa, in fact, was the servant of the servants. We use this for the popes, actually, but she was one of those. Right. She that principle. She lived that principles through her, through her mission, through her apostolate. So O stands for others, servant leadership. We use another term actually at Seton Hall University. We have several classes actually at Catholic Studies that have this component of servant leadership. What does this mean? If we unpack Mother Teresa, there you have the servant and the leader combined together.
You do this for time, Doctor, because I'm concerned about time. T is what?
T is testify by example, lead by example, lead by integrity, walk the talk, in other words, as business people say.
That's right.
And then H, well, Ines, because we also want to talk about your Fulbright scholarship as well.
H is what?
Yes, H stands for humanity, but also humility, I can say. Because humanity is that focus, of Mother Teresa, the focus on people.
Right.
And of course, she did that in a very humble way. E means for evolve, adapting. She was a maestro, I can say, innovative, always adapting to the new situation. And also testing the ground, and also she sent her nuns, to serve the alcoholics, to serve the Roma people, etc., etc., etc.
And R?
R stands for resolute perseverance. She had an idea, she got it done to the end. And S, of course, for sacred.
Wow.
Yeah, human dignity.
By the way, check out, we're going to go make sure that we put up the website for Seton Hall University for people to connect and find out more about the doctor's work. Mary, let's talk about the Fulbright
Yeah, I would love. I know you are a multi-time Fulbright Award Scholar. In the few minutes we have left, I would love to talk about what that means tied to the work that you're doing right now.
I am in Romania, by the way. We have 7 hours difference. So I am at the University of Bebs Bola University in Romania. And it's a wonderful university. And I'm on a Fulbright, which again, I'm very excited about the Fulbright and the opportunity that I'm here. And it is a very special year because we are celebrating Easter together. And in this university, Romania is an Orthodox country, as probably you know this. So it is the Orthodox people, they are the Catholic, Roman Catholic, but also Greek Catholics, and at the same time, Protestants. So we are all celebrating, Easter together on April the 20th. And me to be here, it's the grace of God, and how much we Christians need to come up with a message, not diluted among our all these denominations, but a strong message. And Easter we are celebrating together this year, very special year.
We're actually taping this during Holy Week. We're taping the Wednesday before Easter. This will be seen later. So it's so profound what the doctor is talking about. Dr. Murzaku was talking about. One more quick question here. I'm curious about this. Your fascination with leadership comes from what? 2 minutes left.
Comes from Mother Teresa, and we are leaders. All of us are leaders. I teach. Of course, I lead students, right? But at the same time...
Do you think sorry for interrupting, Doctor, do you think most academics see themselves as leaders? Most scholars see themselves as leaders, please.
I think so. Yeah, we are leaders in our fields. We direct students and where academia is going, actually. So yes, we are leaders, servant leaders, to be more exact.
And that there's a lot of rhetoric around servant leadership, but you believe it to your core.
I do. And as my example is Mother Teresa. And Mother Teresa, do you know where she got the example? From Jesus himself.
Just tell folks when Mother Teresa did most of her most significant work, please.
All over the world.
What time period?
Mother Teresa founded, the order is founded in the 50s. And now her sister are 5,000 sisters, in 139 countries in the world. And it is a lot of leadership to unpack from Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And again, my next book, it would be Professor Porter and Mother Teresa. How can we combine these two together?
So Professor Porter from Harvard, you're bringing...
Mother Teresa, yes.
So wait a minute, before I let you go, Mother Teresa was an entrepreneur.
Oh, she was. If you read, how she tailored her sister when she sent them in Russia, for example, or when she sent them to Reggio Calabria to serve the Roma population. It's a different approach, How she did this? She tested the ground. She went on situ. She interviewed people. She built on whatever was there. So how she understood competitiveness? Fiercely, like Professor Porter? Not really. She had her way of competitiveness by building. Okay. And again, Mother Teresa's principle that people can bring home this message is what you do, I don't do. I cannot do. So let's do something beautiful together.
That's so fascinating to me. A few seconds left. In an age where people believe that in order for me to win, you have to lose, listening to Dr. Murzaku talk about Mother Teresa, it's not about winning and losing. It's about what we can do together. Dr. I want to thank you so much for joining us. And tell folks again where you're joining us from.
From Romania, Cluj-Napoca, Romania.
Let me tell you, interviewing in the studio is great, but it would be hard to pull off if we were in the United States or Romania right now. Doctor, thank you and all the folks at Seton Hall University. We appreciate it. For Lessons in Leadership, for Steve, Mary, and our entire team, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, the North Ward Center, Jingoli Construction, the New Jersey Sharing Network, Delta Dental of New Jersey, the Helix, Fedway Associates Inc., the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com.
Promotional support for this edition of Lessons in Leadership with me, Steve Adubato, and my colleague Mary Gamba has been provided by NJ.com, NJBIA and New Jersey Business Magazine, CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and the Meadowlands Chamber and Meadowlands Media.